The 25th of June 2020 was the date that Liverpool last won the Premier League title. Now, in 2024, is it Liverpool's title to lose? History tells us that Liverpool are fully on that path, but it isn't only the Premier League that Liverpool have been dominating. They've shown fine form in the Champions League. Beating Real Madrid 2-0 is a statement win over reigning champions. Since Arne Slot took over, Liverpool have been more like their 2019-2020 side that won the Premier League under Jurgen Klopp, and are performing better in some ways than their 23-24 season, with some players like Ryan Gravenberch showing remarkable improvements, and the team sharing the responsibility of the performances. However, the season is far from over, and there are some cracks in Liverpool's approach to games that their head coach, Arne Slot, desperately needs to fix. So, will Slot fix these issues and push Liverpool to the end of the season and pick up maybe multiple trophies? No pressure, lads, but every team who's been 5 points ahead after 11 games has won it. This wouldn't be the first time Liverpool would be leading the league and would be in a favourable position on the league table. Their fans would hope that the season wouldn't end like the 2013-2014 season, when they let the season slip away from their hands, with their legend Steven Gerrard literally slipping on the pitch. They would also hope it wouldn't be like the 2018-2019 season, that Liverpool did everything right until they blew a 7-point lead and allowed Manchester City to win the league. Even last season, which goes a little under the radar, Liverpool were in the running all season and leading the league with 6 games left, but fell short. Liverpool are, however, a different team now. While they are largely playing the same style they did under Jurgen Klopp with their ferocious intensity, Liverpool don't rely on causing chaos as much as they did under Klopp. The similarities in how Slot and Klopp approach a game have definitely helped the players with the transition of managers and philosophies, has contributed to Slot winning his first 10 games as head coach and achieving the best start of a new Liverpool manager ever. However, comparing this to Klopp, the German took over a depleted squad and had to rebuild pretty much from scratch. Slot, on the other hand, met a squad so established that Liverpool didn't even really need to be active in the transfer market. Top of the Prem, top of the Champions League, quarterfinals of the League Cup, still in the FA Cup. They have scored around nearly 50 goals already across all competitions, and this is fascinating, because this Liverpool side aren't racking up as many shots per game as they did under Klopp in the 23-24 season. That season, they had 20.8 shots per game average, which was the highest in the league, but now they have 15.3 shots per game. Out of their 15.3 shots, Liverpool have about 2.0 expected goals per game, which is lower than their 23-24 stats. So in terms of attack, Liverpool aren't doing bad. They've become more clinical, which is a huge characteristic for a team to have. However, that's not the only improvement that can be seen so far. They have conceded just 10 goals across all competitions. In the Premier League alone, they've conceded 6 goals in 11 games, which puts them in a position to be better than their 23-24 season, in which they conceded 41 goals. They have faced 36 shots this season and have a 0.74 expected goal against per game in the ongoing 24-25 season. This is a drop from the 1.22 expected goal against per game last season, and is also lower than their stats in their title-winning 19-20 season, where they had 0.76 xG against them per game all season. There's still so much to play for in the 24-25 season, but the early signs are certainly encouraging. This can be thanks to the usual defenders in this side of Trent, Robertson and Van Dijk, but perhaps the standout defender this season so far is Konate. He stepped up and is key to how this Liverpool team play. Liverpool have also changed in other areas of their play. They are sleeker in possession now, as Slot is imprinting his identity on the squad, but statistically, things look a little weird. Here's what I mean. Liverpool make around 570 passes per game and have an average possession of 60.3%, which is the third highest in the Premier League this 24-25 season, behind only Manchester City and Tottenham. Despite this favourable position in terms of possession stats, the number of passes per game they've had so far is lower than their passing stats in every full Klopp season. The only time they had possession stats as low as their 60.3% was in their 2015-2016 season. While Liverpool seem to have regressed in terms of their usual possession numbers on the ball, a closer look shows that there is much more than meets the eye. They have had 86.6% accuracy, which is higher than all seasons under Klopp. So while they make fewer passes, Liverpool have shown more quality on the ball. This is even more impressive considering they are the team that have the second most amount of 10-plus pass sequences, with City being the number one team in this regard, obviously. Liverpool have had on average 4.5 passes per sequence this season. which is better than the 4.2 they had in 23-24. So, they've had fewer of their build-up sequences broken down by opponents, and keep hold of the ball better when they get it. Liverpool have been good on the ball and off the ball too. They've been decent, but there are some differences in how they operate off the ball. Slot encourages his players to battle their opponents. He loves duels, and Liverpool have won 51.3% of their duels in the league. The only time they managed to do this under Klopp only once, and that was in the 2019-2020 season when they won the league. While Liverpool have been better at dueling than they were under Klopp, they don't press as intensely as they did under his leadership. Opponents now complete more passes before Liverpool got the ball back. Slot plays a 4-2-4 when opponents have the ball, but his players are very conscious of their movements because of a flaw in that approach. They also play compactly, which makes them cautious with their pressing. Despite their 4-2-4 approach to pressing, which allows them to have 4 attackers to help them win the ball up high in the pitch, they have only won back possession in the opposition's final third 4.3 times per game on average, which is lower than it ever was under Klopp across a full season. 10 Prem teams win the ball more higher up the pitch than they do. It could be argued that the reason this happens is that Liverpool have been better on the ball and are usually clinical. So, they've been chasing games fewer times than they did in the 23-24 season, and have been in the leading position for a larger percentage of time than anyone else in the 24-25 season. You could also argue that Liverpool have been chasing games less and have reduced intensity because of their attitude towards games. It isn't about their cautiousness in pressing, it is about Liverpool having a calm attitude towards their first half games. Under Klopp's heavy metal football, Liverpool begin to press the moment the referee blows the whistle. Slot, on the other hand, focuses on control, deliberate build-up play, and patient attacks. They aren't as direct, which sometimes makes the first half sometimes feel uneventful. Still, they do score in these halves, which makes them even more difficult to play against. When they have the lead, they have around 50% possession or more in every second half, except against Chelsea, which brings me to how Liverpool have occasionally been exposed and don't have the possession as much. Against Chelsea, their 4-2-4 pressing structure was challenged, with Chelsea managing to have the numerical advantage in midfield by using Malo Gusto in the advanced spaces. Chelsea also took advantage of Liverpool's pressing in that game to get the ball to their midfield pivots, which allowed them to get through Liverpool's press and midfield. Similar things happened against Arsenal too, but rather than try to pass their way through like Chelsea did, Arsenal went direct, with a long ball to Bukayo Saka, who then quickly went on to score. Brighton also got the better of Liverpool by making them press higher and quickly using the exposed space in the midfield. In summary, Chelsea leveraged on creating more numbers on the pitch. Arsenal used the brilliance of a single player, and Brighton were just smarter. So, this means that against gifted players and more tactical teams, Liverpool could end up in a good battle. Speaking of Brighton, click here for our video on their amazing start to the season, and subscribe if you enjoy. The good thing is that Slot has shown tactical maturity and willingness to change things that aren't working. Against Chelsea, Slot reorganised the pressing structure to make sure that Chelsea couldn't get the ball to their pivots. Against Arsenal, Liverpool went direct in the second half, and against Brighton, they were compact and forced Brighton to go long. Liverpool, despite initially getting outsmarted, didn't lose any of those games. They beat Chelsea, drew Arsenal, and beat Brighton. Then, when Leverkusen tried the same thing, Liverpool absolutely destroyed them, with Luis Diaz scoring a hat-trick. Diaz has been impressive under Slot. He has significantly improved his goal-scoring abilities, as he has scored 9 goals in 16 appearances. The reason for his improved goal-scoring is that Diaz has been getting at the end of chances, whilst utilising Mohamed Salah differently. Before Klopp's 23-24 season, the burden of goal-scoring rested more on Salah and Sadio Mane, with the two players as inside forwards. In the 23-24 season, Salah operates as a creator more. When he cuts inside, he doesn't go for goal. Rather, Salah crosses the ball, aiming for the opponent's back post, with Diaz, Darwin Núñez, and sometimes Curtis Jones attacking the post. Click here for our video on Luis Diaz's amazing form this season. Jones has also massively improved under Slot. The possession game really suits Curtis, as he can get on the ball as much as he wants and show his flair. He can operate both in attack, create chances, score and help in the defensive phases of the game too. Speaking of the defensive phase, Ryan Gravenberch has been a revelation in this regard. Gravenberch's key attribute is that he is good on the ball, and that is exactly why he is Liverpool's holding midfielder. Gravenberch uses his abilities on the ball to help Liverpool keep possession and evade the opponent's press. Most times, his ability is what helps Liverpool win, as it helps them open up opponents. He is one of the highest passers in this Liverpool team, making 772 passes as of the time of this recording. Off the ball, Gravenberch has been the key for the Reds. He is their top player when it comes to interceptions in the team and ball recoveries. He has made the second most tackles and is third in the team for aerial duels, with defensive duo Van Dijk and Konate unsurprisingly being superior when it comes to aerial duels. When the season began, in their opening game against Ipswich, Konate sat on the bench in favour of Jarrell Kwanzaa in the centre-back position. Konate had been dealing with poor form, which made Klopp bench him in some games for Kwanzaa, and Slot thought to continue this pattern. Konate was brought on later in this game against Ipswich in an attempt to stop the newly promoted team's direct play, and this worked very well, as he's been solid for them since. He has got a 73.4% dual success rate, with only Aston Villa's Ezri Konsa having more at 83%. Konate has also been incredible when it comes to aerial duels for Liverpool, and is currently the #1 defender when it comes to successful aerial duels, with his 82.4% success rate. Van Dijk has also been doing well with his duels and aerial duels. He's won 66.2% of his duels and has won 71.7% of his aerial duels. Konate is the primary fighter in the Liverpool defence, with Van Dijk being more rounded, as he can help the team switch play. He has contributed immensely to Liverpool making around 4 switches of play per game. It's interesting that this is a Liverpool side with Trent Alexander-Arnold that isn't in full gear. The fullback has had a reduction in that attacking freedom that he had under Klopp, and plays more as a traditional fullback and helping Liverpool to keep the width.